Hey folks, so based on what you've probably seen from the channel over the last, I don't know, couple weeks, one of the things we've kind of been hovering around is this idea of conflict. And one of the things that I think is really important is to discuss this notion by which conflict is often viewed in marginalized circles as some sort of abuse. I know this is going to be a hot take, but if you notice that in a lot of cases where someone gets critiqued, I get critiqued, or Lily gets critiqued, or whomever, the response to it is not to engage with it in any way, but rather to smash it, kill it, get rid of it. And this really got me thinking, is that there was a quote, and I can't remember specifically which ContraPoints video it is, it might have been Canceling, where she talks about a book called Conflict is Not Abuse, Overstating Harm, Community Responsibility, and the Duty of Repair. And I think this book might be really interesting. So let's look at some of the quotes from it, because I feel like I want to kind of put a challenge out there, and I think this is important. So let's check this out. Okay. My thesis is that at many levels of human interaction, there is the opportunity to conflate discomfort with threat, to mistake internal anxiety for exterior danger, and in turn, to escalate rather than resolve. This right here, I think, is incredibly solid. So this book is by Sarah Schulzman. And I really love this opening premise, because essentially what it does, it describes what happens in left-leaning spaces. So the problem with this is we have to be very careful with our language, and I think Sarah does a really good job. Because here's where things get interesting. This specific notion of discomfort with threat as a threat. This is something I see a lot in left-leaning spaces. It's really weird to me as a person who trained in Zen. In Zen, at least traditional Japanese Zen, when you're sitting there and you're supposed to be meditating, like in traditional, like hardcore Rinzai Japanese Zen, you just get hit with a fucking stick. Don't fucking move. Now, granted, my order stopped that. My teacher, you know, God love him, he unfortunately died recently. Not a big fan of that. But one of the things that happened is that he was a big proponent of getting rid of violence from the Zendo. So he broke that stick upon becoming a Roshi, which is like a teacher in Zen. And one of the things that happened is that, yeah, he's a person I knew for over 10 years. There's a video on it. Junpo's just wonderful. Back to this, though. So one of the things he did was he broke that stick. And so one of the things he did was he was very big into this notion of kind of reframing and reformatting these things. Because the thing is, in Zen, you're sitting there, even with the stick broken, the point is to learn to sit with discomfort. If your hip hurts, if your knee hurts, what you do is you sit with it. What's it like to be uncomfortable? What's it like for your nose to itch and not itch it? I know that sounds really hard because these are autosomatic responses, right? They're just like automatic program shit we do where our body just, it feels like our body just does a thing all of a sudden. But it's really not. There's choice involved in these. You choose to move your knee. You choose to scratch your nose. And so the goal is to sit with those things and learn to rest in discomfort. There's some spiritual shit in there too, but that's one of the core things. It's learning to sit with discomfort. I think this is actually a really good way for people to learn how to have a little bit more spiritual and sort of emotional fortitude, is the ability to kind of stay present with things that are really hard, especially when they start touching into or attacking things that are sort of the core of their being, right? So let's continue on. The real question is, why would a person rather have an enemy than a conversation? Why would they rather see themselves as harassed and transgressed instead of having a conversation that could reveal them as an equal participant in creating conflict? There should be a relief in discovering that one is not being persecuted, But actually, in the way we have misconstrued these responsibilities, sadly, the relief is in the confirmation that one has been victimized. It comes with the relieving of abdication of responsibility. What does this sound like, guys? Does this sound like canceling? Does this sound like purity culture? Someone says something that isn't great, right? And rather than engage with them and just tell them how it impacted you, we lash out because we have abdicated responsibility. We have essentially said that whatever happens next is up to, it's because of this person. We've talked about the way the purity culture essentially justifies harm and abuse. This has been a staple on this channel forever. And yes, Brittany, you're absolutely right. You should absolutely look what your triggers are because they can feed into all of this. But look at the situation right now with Lily online, right? Lily's been mauling on Twitter about me. Hi, Lily. And one of the things here is like Lily plays victim. Rather than actually engaging with my real arguments, she claims I'm psychoanalyzing her. She claims I'm diagnosing her, despite her never being a client of mine, and plays victim. Right? This quote literally summarizes that. It is easier to write me off and assume that I am victimizing or attacking them, rather than to assume that I could have some type of use despite being in conflict with them. Go back to my original video. Was I ever in conflict with them during that video? Fuck no. I literally said, I just don't like the way you treat some things. Sorry. That's it. Perpetrators, increasingly, are the ones to call the police, threaten legal action, send lawyer letters, and threaten or seek restraining orders as part and parcel of their agenda of blame and unilateral control. It is an agenda designed to avoid, by any means necessary, having to examine their own behavior, history, or participation in the conflict. Actively violent or truly abusive people are hard to convict, and innocent people are convicted of crimes every day. At the same time, a targeted victim may rarely be convicted and incarcerated based on exclusively harassing using the law. Remember that word. Incarcerated based on exclusively harassing uses of the law, but the stigma, the anxiety, the expense, and fear caused by cynical manipulation of police, lawyers, courts can be punitive, avoidant goal. The state's protective machine becomes an additional tool of harassment. So I read that shitty, but do you get the point? Like, this happens all the time when I work with couples. This happens all the time when I've seen this work with kids dealing with their parents in custody. Right? They use systems as a way to strike back, systems that are there to protect. Right? No, Reagan, that's super true. She has talked about the fact that you should be willing to change your mind. But again, anyone can say that. Very few people can do it. Absolutely. I'm going to mispronounce this. Rudahan? I'm hoping that's right. But yeah, they said in YouTube chat, hell, triggers can come on so random too. Yes, one should be aware of one's own triggers, but also have a plan for something out of one's control just suddenly happening. No, this is super true, right? Like, this should be a thing. This is why we talked about this with the DM and RGR discussion, right? Because the idea was that there was clear triggers shown based on every bit of inductive reasoning we can do. And because of that, what seemed to happen was the situation escalated rather than the claim or the discussion getting put away. Now, that could be because of the streaming. That could be because of just a natural conflictualness and them both being tired. But again, this stuff, like, this book really seems to nail this shit. There is often a cadre of bad friends around a person encouraging them to do things that are morally wrong, unjustified, or unethical. No one feels so justified as a person who believes they are on the right side of, as someone who believes they're on the right side of history. Ruan. Okay. Ruan, I will try to remember that. If I fuck it up, just, I guess, yell at me. Ladybug juices. Now you're on the right point. They said this in YouTube chat. This is exactly the point. I would like to read this as part of a book club. So I'm a slow reader. I tend to use audio. So if Audible's out there, you motherfuckers can pay me, because I already pay for your service. But I tend to like audiobooks. I tend to be an audio learner. And one of the things I think would be really cool is if either using audiobooks or, picking up the book yourself or getting a PDF or whatever you want. I think we need to start having this conversation. Let's see. Tiamat said, I feel like there's something about comfort of righteousness. OSP touched on it in a recent of their tropes talks of sins of the father. That kind of reinforce and indulge, especially. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's super fair. Yeah, Brittany, I get you. I went through a graduate degree. I hear you. Irish language is hard, Rua. Like, it's just Ruan. Sorry. See? I'll get it eventually. Probably around, 50. It'll be fine. 10 years will be good. Bye, Miss Pasta Master. Come back when you can. That's okay. I'm ADHD and fucking graduate school, so I hear you. But yeah, so this is the thing. I want to actually read this book with you guys. So what I would like to do is invite you, in whatever way you can that is affordable for you, is to find this book and to get it. The book is called, again, Conflict is Not Abuse, Overstating Harm, Community Responsibility, and the Duty of Repair by Sarah Schultzman. Now, real quick, this is really great. I think this book is really fun. I think it's something that'd be really wonderful. I do see you, YouTube chat. Lol. She can mauled. But I think this would be really cool for us to all go through together. I've been wanting to read this book since Contra brought it up, but I can never find a reason. Channel seems like a good reason. So what I'll probably do in a month or so from now is we'll have another conversation about this book, or maybe we'll do conversations throughout it. Maybe I'll put a vote inside the Discord and let you guys decide. Paperback is only $20 on Amazon. Fuck yeah. So if you can get a used one for like 10 or 5, go to fucking,
library.
Yeah, the library, Better World Books. Love you, Zena.
Love you.
And all that shit. Like, I don't care how you have to get it. Fucking smoke signals, whatever. Half Price Books is good. Better World Books is good. There's a number of places you can probably get this, but again, I have an Amazon account because I'm a bad person. But I do use Audible, and I get a lot of use out of it because there are certain books I can only find on there. This was one of them, so it is on there. Go to your local book co-op. Great example. Seattle has them. I'm in the Midwest. That sounds nice.
Local book.
But that's what I was wondering. It sounds pog, but
I want the local book co-op. What is this magic?
So we're going to leave that alone for right now. I'll have Brittany give me more information later. And apparently I need to smuggle my ass to Seattle. But here's the thing. I would really like to read this with you guys. So again, I'm going to give this the Goodreads copy of this link to the mods. If they can copy and paste this motherfucker into the name and the name of the book, the name of the author into the chats. You don't need to do the whole link. Just that's where you can get it. Boop. Please do check that out. Now there's Aaron. Hi. Good evening. Hello. Hello. Hi there. So with this all said, what I would like to do is invite you to read this book with me. Conflict is Not Abuse by Sarah Schultzman. And so I think this would be a really cool thing to do together. So yeah. if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe. I do read all the comments once they're filtered, and I do try to respond when I can. Anybody who's in my comments knows this for sure. You can join the Discord. You can engage however you want, as long as you're cool and you're looking to help mental health. But yeah, if you want to donate to the stream, donations super help. You can donate at streamlabs.com/transgirltherapist/tip. You can also do patreon.com/transgirltherapist. We actually had a new patron. This is Naranu from our server. Joined last week right after stream, so that's fucking great. Oh yeah, and if you donate during the stream, you get to see the Godzilla. I try to get back to them too if they're ever a thing. So with that all said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one, and enjoy reading. All right? Bye.